Triple Whistle, the only podcast that talks about Genoa Cricket and Football Club in English. Powered by Genuani Siresta, our guests every week will comment the game performances, players, ratings, tops and flops here at Triple Whistle. Welcome back to Triple Whistle. I was about to say the only podcast that talks about Genoa Cricket and Football Club in English. We're not anymore, luckily. There's another group of Genoa fans from Toronto, Canada, that are recording a podcast called La Lanterna. Check them out because they're really good friends of us, and they talk quite deeply about Genoa and the upcoming games. My name is Tobia. I'm speaking to you from Edinburgh in Scotland, and today connected with me, I got our Alex Pugno from London. Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Feeling much better compared to last week because of the game. How are you feeling?
Oh, fantastic for the game. Had a very busy week privately due to work, friends visiting. So a lot went down this week. But I would say the win against Juventus for 2-1 really cheered me up and really helped me to get through the weekend. Taken that it's been a really tough couple of weeks. I would say that this victory that we had allow us to still stay alive and still hope for another week. But let's go with orders. I didn't manage to see the game really well as I usually do. So can you get me through what happened? I know you've seen it as well a little bit with a bit of confusion, but I'm 100% sure you've seen it better than I did. I've seen the highlights, I've seen the goals, but what happened on Saturday in the Luigi Ferraris?
Okay, well, I was with the others at the pub, and to be perfectly honest, I was watching it and then leaving the pub because I was stressed, and then going back up and then leaving it again, etc., etc. But Juventus are a strong team, obviously. They didn't come to Genoa with a lot of interest in 3 points, but obviously they played like Juventus, and you could tell. To start with, they were gaining a room everywhere on the pitch, and Genoa was just trying to counter, but it was very difficult. After the first 20 minutes, we managed to come up a bit, but overall we didn't really have many opportunities. We didn't have take any opportunities with free kicks or corners, and usually I don't think we take advantage of free kicks and corners that well. And we had a nice shot with Portanova, and apart from that, we didn't really do much. At some point in the match, Juventus, what Juventus are came through, and and they managed to score. And there were a few wrong passes as well. I was a bit disheartened. We were a bit disheartened during the match, me and the others, really. And we really felt it was like 10 minutes to the end, and we felt like we were going down. And then admittedly, Juventus was all over the place, and they hit a post with Dybala, and they could have scored a second goal, and that would have been it, really. And luckily there was a penalty as well, and considered Juventus, but VAR withdrew that. But had it gone like that, it would have been the end for us. The last 10 minutes, with a lot of energy and everything they got, they still tried to push forward, and luckily Juventus wasn't as effective as before, and we managed to score. But you see, the thing is that we scored in the last minute, so it was just incredible. Amiri did something exceptional, exceptional, and Gudmundsson was there with his mind to manage the score, and then the rest of is history.
Oh, indeed, yeah. As a friend of mine, a Genoa fan called Dario, said, it looks like the Truman Show for the way that the game went, because after your basically what you just said about the Juventus performance, they were all over the place after Dybala's goal. A couple of miracles that I've seen done by Sirigu as well. They played a really good game this time. And after the post that they hit, Amiri's ball, a fantastic assist, I would say, right in the middle of the box for Gudmundsson to cut from the left to right and put the curve ball just behind the net of Szczesny. And then, well, the Truman Show for real, taking that they considered us a penalty at the very last minute, as it happened during the derby game.
Yeah.
Our captain, Mimmo Criscito, really took a massive responsibility, and this time, luckily, managed to score. And I think he had a lot of balls to go on that penalty. And I'm really happy for him, but for us mostly, of course, but I'm really happy for him because after the mistake he did just the game before, he proved himself that with hard work and with the right mindset, you can recover from big mistakes and big sadness moments.
Yeah, he gestured as well to the supporters that he's got balls straight after he scored. And it's incredible that the penalty should be really 5 minutes into stoppage time, exactly like against the Shites.
The derby,
the derby, yeah.
I noticed also another thing, which is quite remarkable and quite incredible, right? Call it karma, I don't know. But during the press conference before the game, where journalists asked Mr. Blessin, what does it take to beat Juventus? Mm-hmm. And the answer has been balls.
Yeah.
It's balls.
Yeah.
And seeing Criscito, cheering after the penalty, really showing that he got a huge pair of them. It's quite remarkable, right? It's something that if you try to stage it, is impossible to make, right? Let's not get too much ahead of ourselves with what happened after this game, because there's a discussion to make. But for the little I've seen of the game, I've noticed that the minute Blessin decided to put players in their natural positions, Genoa changed a bit phase, and I'll try to articulate a bit. FT on the right wing, Criscito on the left wing. Frendrup finally played in his own position, right in the midfield, playing some sort of a box-to-box midfielder. Amiri playing in his natural position, just right behind, and the two strikers, or just right a little bit in front of the midfielder. Gudmundsson played for the first time on the left side rather than the right side. The team started to play a bit more naturally. I agree with you. The game didn't went well. We didn't create God knows how many chances. But even though when we went down and in the first half, I've noticed a part of the strong belief that this team has and the strong commitment that they have to the cause. I've seen Genoa playing one touch in few parts of the game. I've seen players really bringing a bit of a higher quality to the pitch, taking the Criscito that, in my opinion, but I read also on the press, in probably lots of journalists' opinions, played one of the best games since he came back to Genoa. But we can say a lot of things about his personality and about his way to lead the team. But he is a very, very strong player, and he got lots of quality for Genoa. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got lots of quality. His personality, I don't really want to talk about his personality because what happens on the pitch after the match, and so long and so forth. But what counts is on what he does on the pitch, and he played a very good game.
Yeah.
I was really annoyed, I must admit, after the derby, after the penalty, because it does take balls to take a penalty, but I don't think he did a good job of it. But these things do happen. It did happen, and it's amazing that he managed to get another one and to score it. So I'm very happy for him. I'm very happy for him, and I'm very
Indeed.
happy for us because it seems like he's playing quite well, and I think in Naples in the next game it will be important.
Oh yes, indeed, for many different reasons. That kind of opens up our usual conversation about the tops and the flops of the game, and I'll give you mine, and then I want to hear from you what you think about this and what are yours. I think that if we have to surely choose the three tops, the number one will be Crescito, 100%. As we just said, he played an A game and he scored a very important and heavy penalty. The second best player of the game is Sirigu, because even though I really don't like him, I have to admit he played a very, very good game. He saved the score 2-3 times, one in the first half, another very close shot on the second half. Also on the goal occasion of Dybala, he almost got it. He almost catched it. And so if we won, it's also because of Sirigu's miracles. Then the third top of the game is Amiri. You can tell is not on 100% right now. I may say if he was, probably he wasn't gonna play in Genoa this season. But in the few moments that he has where he can express his class, is of another planet. That ball that he put as a assist was incredible. And what I really liked of him, and I think is remarkable as well, is the fact that he's on loan, and in case of relegation, he's probably the only player that is sure 100% that he won't be playing in Serie B next year. So some people could be, who cares? I'll be in Leverkusen next year. I don't care about his team anymore. We're doomed. That's it. It's not his case. He's committing to the cause massively. I saw him running, chasing opponents. He was incredibly disappointed when he missed that chance towards the end of the game. I think he really believes that, first of all, we can keep the season, but I think he really wants to stay in Genoa. I generally believe that. For the flops, I want to put on the flops Melegonius first, because he didn't have the impact that we need at this time. Don't get me wrong, he's not the kind of player that could change a game, and we've seen it also in the past few occasions. I don't know why Mr. Blessing still, give him a chance right now. I didn't really like this game, either though I recognize he's a skilled player. The second worst is Destro. I don't know what's going on with him. He's playing awfully. After the derby game with the we commented, where basically he lacked of any sort of drive and fitness. He repeated himself during this game with Juventus. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing, and he's been totally useless. And the third flop is not as bad as the other two. In my opinion, is FT. He played a very good game when in possession of the ball, when building from the back. In the first half, mostly, he missed Moise Kean from Juventus a couple of times, and we almost conceded a goal because of his mistakes. So I think the guy is really good, but he should improve his defensive game. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Tops, I agree. I think number one is Crescito for me too. because before, and it was very important to score that goal, and for the whole game he played. Number two, I would say Amiri, because he's not at his full potential, but I saw him in the middle of the pitch driving Juventus players nuts. And I think he got 3 Juventus players booked, if I remember correctly. So he was all over the place, and they were, they were afraid of him. He got the ball. He was passing the midfield, and they were taking him down because they were really scared of him. Sirigu, you mentioned Sirigu, so yeah, fair enough. They had 2 incredible chances, and he showed great goalkeeping skills. And so yeah, for me as well, number 3. And number 4, that would be the post, because they hit the post, and I thank the post because otherwise nobody would anything strange during the game had that ball gone in, and everybody would have been happy. Anyway, that conversation we'll have later. And the flops, you mentioned one. I'm gonna mention just one because I trust Blessing. He knows who to put from start. And when you mentioned Melegoni and you mentioned Hefty as well, I don't want to talk about anyone aside from one, because it's been sometimes now. Destro.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like we have a player on the pitch when Destro plays. I mean, I can't really understand doing. He's not somebody I think, for the aggressive game the gegenpressing the Blessing wants, and they're not creating maybe for him, or he's not getting many chances himself. I don't really know. If I remember the derby, all those high balls, and he wouldn't any ball with his head. And then, if I remember correctly, some point during the match, I don't know whether you saw it, he tried a back heel. I mean, let's be practical and let's do what we need, and that's it. I mean, especially when you don't touch many balls, right?
Indeed. I got really upset at him when he attempted that during the derby. I missed what you just told, and thank God I missed it and I haven't seen it, because I would have been even more upset with it. I would say it's important for us now to look ahead and think about the next game that we have in Naples. But I want to talk about it after a little break for commercial. My name is Tobia Salvai, and I approve this message. And welcome back to Triple Whistle. After our commercial break, Alex, Napoli-Genoa, what do you think about that?
Napoli-Genoa is going to be a tough game, obviously, because Napoli are a very, very strong team. It's the last game for one of their players, was Insigne, I believe. And I think they want to play in front of their supporters, and they want to try their best to play a great game, right? As Juventus showed this last weekend, when a team are strong, regardless of of how motivated they are, and they are not motivated just like Juventus, they just come out, they come forward, and they score. Really, it's so. I'm really fearful. I hope that Genoa will display the best football of the whole season, and I hope the Blessing will manage to get the best players on the pitch, the best formation, because obviously we need to win. There's no other way around it. But we need to be focused as per usual, the gegenpressing, etc., and be focused on on every ball, really, both in defensively and when coming forward as a team. And then we'll see. What do you think?
I strongly believe that it's going to be a very, very, very difficult game, and for only one reason, which is the reason that proven to be a difficult game for us throughout the season. We don't score goals. It's hard for us to score. I think the first real goal in terms of actually open chance and not from a penalty or from a random occasion, it's been the goal scored by Goodmanson, right? Which has been an amazing goal against Juventus. So I think, yes, I agree with you. Napoli will play their game. It's going to be their captain, Lorenzo Insigne, last game as well with their jersey. They don't have anything to ask to the league. However, taking also the fact that, and we're going to talk a bit more about it later, but taking also the fact that there's lots of complaints and lots of useless talks about Genoa right now from other fans, I think Napoli will try to do their part, which is what I want. I want Napoli to play their game. I don't want Napoli to gift us anything. I don't want Napoli to concede or make any sort of deal with Genoa. I want them to play for what they are. It's down to us and our motivation to play better than them and win the game.
Look, all teams play their games. Juventus play their game. Napoli will play their game. The thing, in my view, it's a subconscious thing or it's instinctive thing. When you fight for the 3 points, because you fight against relegation or you fight to get to the Champions League, etc., you don't have the same energy as other teams. But it's only normal. Everybody in our daily life, when there is something that really we need to do, we put a lot of effort into it. When there's something we're not really interested in or it's not really important, yeah, we do it, but not with the same energy. And that's only normal. But that doesn't mean that there are agreements or of any kind. It's just a different sort of focus between the two teams. And I think it would be good if, but I'm not blessing, I'm not a coach. I have never, I don't really know, but it should be good to see, because you were talking about scoring, our difficulties in scoring. It would be good to see perhaps Yeboah first, and then maybe Destro the last 25 minutes, rather than the other way around, because it seems like when we come forward and Yeboah and his players and Amiri are there, they manage somewhat to get into the box. Remember the goal, own goal that Amiri caused a few weeks ago, and the fact that even last minute they served that ball in front of the goal, and again Amiri was in the box, and Amiri last week with that pass to Goodmanson. All these things didn't involve Destro. I would like to see more of that, because we got not much else, not in the corners, not in the free kicks, not in any other shots, or maybe very few, a couple last week against Juventus. We need to take advantage of that, and I do hope that we will have more time with Yeboah on the pitch and to see whether we can do this sort of play and get into the box and try to score that way, because we managed a couple of times, 2 or 3 times to score that way. We haven't managed in any other way, certainly not with Destro, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I want to see more of Yeboah too, also because the chances that we created with Juventus, as you rightly said, were involving Yeboah mostly. The penalties been basically Yeboah intuition. Talking about the other results of the day and explaining also to our listeners why we are still alive. We witnessed Sampdoria losing against Lazio. They are facing now Fiorentina, and then they have Inter Milan. So 2 really difficult games for them, either though they're on 33 points. Spezia as well on 33 points, lost against Atalanta. They have, I don't remember with whom they're playing, but they have a couple of easier games compared to Sampdoria. However, both teams, all they need is just 1 point to be saved, even two to be totally out of troubles. We got now Cagliari and Salernitana. They played against each other and they draw 1-1. A really crazy game. I don't know if you've seen a bit of that.
I watched it all. Yeah,
you watched that all. I mean, I don't want to comment on their game, but what I want to say is I really struggle to believe that the Salernitana fans are complaining about Genoa Juventus and about the fact that, in their opinion, and only in their opinion, the game was fixed. When then you see things such as the penalty conceded to them, when then you consider into factor things such as the fact that they shouldn't even be participating to this championship, that they managed to postpone the dates to recoup the game against Venezia to the 4th of May. Like, it seems like they really are creating a lot of noise and a lot of a big case only to get their way, without being fair, without being without showing any sort of sportsmanship. And it's sad to see, but it was expected. The Sampdoria fans are following exactly the same path of them, talking about match fixing and all. And it's quite funny hearing them saying so, taking that, technically speaking, they're already saved and we are doomed, aren't we? But I mean, I don't want to talk too much about this personally. I just want to understand your opinion on it, and I think we can move on with what the future will bring. As I said earlier, I want Napoli to play their game. I don't want any gift, because I believe and I think that Genoa, if they play their game, they're going to be capable of coming back with a victory, which is the only possible result we can do to keep on hoping.
Yeah. There are no gifts, as I said before. It's the motivation of the team, and there are no gifts. Gifts, it's something the federation would investigate. There have been match fixing in the past, and these are things quite evident, self-explanatory. Match fixing occur and it's pretty clear. If it had it been match fixing, Genoa Juventus, they would have considered probably a couple of goals in the first half, right? You don't risk it, trying with Dybala scoring the second goal and you go 2-0 and that's it, or get a penalty.
If it was a fixed game, pardon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that wouldn't have happened.
Let's give the Ballon d'Or to Dybala for hitting that post so precisely.
Dybala for hitting the post, exactly. So I think lots of supporters of Salernitana and Sampdoria didn't really watch the match. I mean, even lots of journalists, I don't think they watched the match. They just possibly watched the highlights, the last few minutes. So they said, "Oh, there you go." They let them score, or this and then the other. You don't fix a match like that 3 minutes into stoppage time until the 5th minute into stoppage time. You don't do that. So these people are just making lots of noise, as they did noise against Genoa after the match against Cagliari, because they shouted against Genoa. This sort of conspiracy against them, when actually they shouldn't be in the league. They shouldn't be in the league in the first place.
Exactly, and I can understand that the dynamics of what happened in Ferraris were upsetting to a fan of a team that is fighting against Genoa, because Moise Kean missed a really big chance, and then shortly after Genoa scored the penalty, but he missed the chance. Not deliberately. He missed the chance because he was injured and because he's not new.
He was limping. Yeah, he was injured. He was limping. He had been limping for 10 minutes. Anyway, I wanted to say another thing about journalists, because I heard this guy who talked about Verona Milan, and the way they talked about Verona Milan and the way they talked about Genoa Juventus. Verona Milan, They said obviously Verona's got nothing anymore to play for, so it's only natural that Milan will win. And the way they talked about Genoa Juventus, it's like Juventus considered, instead of saying the same thing, Juventus has got nothing to play for, so obviously they are a bit light on the pitch, etc. They just use a different approach depending on how they feel towards things, especially Milan, AC Milan. So let's celebrate Milan, and Genoa.
Yeah.
Let's go against Genoa. I don't really understand. Plus, nobody's saying anything about a team, Salernitana, that did nothing at all for most of the season, nearly the whole season, and all of a sudden, in a few weeks, they managed to win everywhere. I mean, had the league started now, they would probably be fighting for Champions League spot or for the Scudetto, which is surreal. Nobody's questioning that at all. People think about Genoa because we managed to win a game for one, which is.
But
anyway,
I want to finish this conversation with you because I'm getting upset towards the situation, saying that if there's a karma, they'll get what they deserve, and we might end up probably we're going to end up in Serie B next year, either though we are not yet. And who cares? We got a bright future ahead of us, and let's see in 3-4 years' times where Genoa will be and where Salernitana will be. So let them have their moment of joy, because we are aiming for something else. Said so, and I want to close now on Napoli-Genoa, if you agree, and move on.
Yeah.
We need the 3 points. I think we're going to be capable of getting the 3 points. But we also have to keep an eye out on the other games, because Salernitana is going to Empoli. And Empoli, again, got nothing else to ask to the championship. And Cagliari is playing against Inter Milan, which is still fighting to try to get the title. So a really, really, really tense weekend. If Genoa wasn't involved in this fight, I would say one of the nicest relegation fights in 10 years, probably. But the tension is high, and let's see what happens. Are you going to go to Napoli to see the game?
I haven't decided yet. I bought my DNA, my fidelity card yesterday, and I'm in 2 minds, because I was about to get the flight like other members of our club. I think 5 people are going. The price of the ticket shot up twice as much in like 2 days. I have to decide, because there's a lot of emotions going on inside me. I mean, I don't really know. If I go, I'll decide at the very last minute, possibly Friday, because I think by tomorrow or Friday I will receive my DNA card, and there will still be plenty of time to get the flight and the ticket. I'm just afraid. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to think. There is a lot of emotions inside me, and I don't really know. I will decide the last minute and join the others if I go.
Yeah, I think it's a tough decision. Well, I'm pretty sure that either if you won't manage to go or you will decide not to go, you're going to see the game, and we are going to comment it again next week here in Triple Whistle. Thank you, Alex, for the chat. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us. Please follow us on all of the social media platforms. We are on Spotify as well. That will really help us a lot. And thank you for this as well. Forza Genoa, Ale. 2 more games. And who cares? We are Genoani.
Absolutely. One and only. Alrighty. Chat later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. My name is Alex Pogno, and I approve this message.
You've listened to Triple Whistle, the after-game podcast of Genoa Si Resta. See you next week.